Katie Proudfoot is really tech savvy. She knows all about electronics, technology, non-human interaction. She thought tech-wise, in my opinion, if she premeditated Sebastian's disappearance. This is why I say that. Katie knows that to find somebody's location, you look for camera footage, you look for their GPS, you look at their Life 360, you look at their dash cam, you look at the smartwatch, you look at the Wi-Fi on their computer, on their car, and you decide that that person was home. But Katie knew all that stuff. So let's get camera footage. Okay, somebody's taking out the garbage. There's the camera footage taken care of. Her car pulling into the garage. There's the camera footage taken care of. Dash cam, audio only. More quote-unquote footage, audio taken care of. Now what do we need? We need her car, we need her smartwatch, and we need her iPhone. Well, guess what? All she had to do was put the person who's going to take out the trash, pretending to be Sebastian, in her car behind the Texas Roadhouse, and she gets in their car with Sebastian. Put Sebastian in that other car. I believe she's got extra clothes exactly matching the clothes that Sebastian was wearing at Texas Roadhouse. She wanted him to be very well seen on camera. At BJ's, at Strike and Spare, at Texas Roadhouse. Clear videos in all three places, right? Allegedly. At least I know at Texas Roadhouse. Very clear. You can see his shirt, you can see his jeans, you can see his shoes, you can see his glasses. And you can see that Katie has a smartwatch on and a telephone in her hand. And you can see what she's wearing, and you can see she's wearing the same shoes he is. And Chris actually made a statement, I believe, allegedly. If anybody has that footage or that audio of Chris saying, our shoes are in the house and accounted for, nobody's thinking anything about that. Yeah, because you guys are not missing, dumbass. You guys are not missing, dumbass. But I believe Sebastian had 2 copies of that outfit. There's no taking the outfit back home. He didn't need to change his clothes, in my opinion. I believe they were ready, set, go. I believe Sebastian told Katie that he wants to run away from home. And Katie said, oh, baby, I don't blame you. It really is getting bad. I don't want to be around Chris anymore either. Let's get away from him. Let's just pack up in the middle of the night and let's just go. And maybe Sebastian said, but he'll find us. And Katie said, well, then we're going to have to do some things to make sure that he can't track us. Like what? Well, we can't take any of our phones because he could find us on Life 360. We can't take our Switch. We can't take our watch. We can't take our iPads. We can't take our tablets. We can't take our laptops. We can't take anything that's going to tell him where we are. Now, I'm definitely thinking that she just simply had another copy of that exact outfit ready. Maybe he wore it a few days earlier. Somebody needs to ask the school if Sebastian had worn that outfit a few days earlier. See if we could get school footage of Sebastian and find out what he wore that whole week. Because if he wore that same outfit, I'm about 100% sure, at least 99, in my opinion, that Sebastian wore those clothes and they were ready to be put in the top of the hamper and the shoes placed by the door so that when he goes missing, it can make it look like he came back home. I believe that this audio was pre-recorded and was placed onto whatever audio device that Katie handed the police. And I believe that Sebastian insisted on taking his puppies. If Nerdy Addict is telling the truth about speaking with Chris, and he said he didn't want to talk about the dogs, I think that those two little Morkies were part of the dogs he didn't want to talk about. They made a big deal about put the dogs up and go to bed, Sebastian saying goodnight to his puppies, all that stuff. Well, Sebastian may have actually said goodnight to his puppies right before Katie left him somewhere else. In my opinion, probably with Christopher Proudfoot or one of his cronies in Memphis. After Sebastian no longer has an opportunity to just say no because he's hours away from home now. And if they wound up by Chris, Sebastian already knows that he's been betrayed. So I believe from that point, Katie handed Sebastian off to someone else, in my opinion, probably Chris Proudfoot, in Memphis, Tennessee, or they're close by, maybe Horn Lake, Mississippi, I don't know. But if she handed him straight off and that next driver continued to drive, Sebastian could have been 12 hours away from Texas Roadhouse, 12 hours and 8 minutes, because Texas Roadhouse, 6:25 p.m., reported missing 6:33 a.m. That is 12 hours and 8 minutes. If he was just continually driven and passed off, continually driven and passed off, by that time, I would say that the drive was over and that he'd already arrived in the location that he was going to be staying, or he'd already gotten out of the state. I don't believe he's dead, but I do believe they want to give us subtle little hints that they think he's dead. I believe that Sebastian is safe and alive and being hidden for some reason I can't figure out. But my main point of this is to talk about Katie. I believe she simply parked in the back parking lot, not across from where the cameras are looking, but out back, because I was there and I searched the back of that building and I found 0 cameras whatsoever. And I'm talking about the Texas Roadhouse on Indian Lake Boulevard in Hendersonville. I believe she simply rolled back there, put the car in park, jumped out of her car along with Sebastian into the other car where the Morkies and whatever Sebastian needed, probably including the snacks, were already preloaded. They got in that car and they drove. The person they took the car from got in Katie's car, drove it to her house, parked inside the garage under the cover of night, had her keys, had her car, had her smartphone, had her smartwatch, and all of those digital items are now at the home, making Katie digitally on location, on site, at home. So they have digital evidence of Katie arriving home, but they don't have any human evidence of Katie arriving home. That is considered circumstantial evidence. I believe Katie tricked Sebastian into thinking that they were going to go and have a more normal life like they had before she moved in with Chris. And Sebastian was probably the happiest little boy. I would be happy if I thought I was getting my mama back and my abuser was getting out of the picture. And Sebastian was probably eating really fast at the Texas Roadhouse for 2 reasons. Because he was about to find his freedom and because his puppies were waiting in the car. And he wanted to go. That's what I think.